What does today mean to you?
Honestly, everything. Obviously, growing up in the club, it means so much for me to win the Premier League today.
The fact that you're a local boy, this is your club, does that make it even more special? And would that have made it even more difficult had you not won it today?
Definitely, I feel what the fans are feeling today when we're 2 goals behind, but, everyone today just stuck to the game plan and kept believing to the end, and, Gundo came on and changed the game.
Did you really keep believing, or was there a part of you was starting to get worried when they got the second?
I mean, the team that Pet's built this year, we always stick to the game plan, and if we didn't believe today, we wouldn't have won, so I think everyone stuck to the game plan and believed in it to the end.
Phil Foden was born on 28th of May 2000 in Stockport, Greater Manchester. And from an early age, football wasn't just a pastime, it was a calling. A boyhood fan of Manchester City, he joined the club's academy at a very young age, quickly standing out for his technical skill, spatial awareness, and intelligence on the ball. Coaches immediately noticed something beyond natural talent, a maturity and understanding of the game that set him apart from his peers. As he progressed through the youth ranks, it became clear that Foden was not only gifted with close control and vision, but also had the temperament to handle the pressures of elite football, a rare combination that caught the eye of Pep Guardiola and the senior squad even before he turned 17. Guardiola, reflecting on his first impression, would later describe him as the most talented player I have ever seen. A remarkable endorsement considering the world-class players he has managed throughout his career. Foden's rise from academy prospect to first-team contributor was steady, but deliberate. He made his senior debut for Manchester City in the Champions League against Feyenoord in November 2017 at just 17, and by the end of the season, he had already etched himself into club history as one of the youngest English players to start a Champions League match. His first Premier League goal, scored against Tottenham Hotspur. Guardiola and teammates praised not only his technical ability, but his understanding of the game, his ability to read situations, and his adaptability within a squad packed with world-class talent. Even at this stage, Foden was being compared to seasoned internationals for his vision, dribbling, and link-up play, and his performances hinted at a player who could define a generation. By the end of this early phase, Foden had laid the foundation for what would become an extraordinary career. He had accumulated milestones, regular appearances, crucial contributions, and growing influence within the squad that transformed him from a promising youth prospect into a player capable of competing at the highest level. Beyond the statistics of goals and assists, it was his intelligence, maturity, and seamless integration into Manchester City's demanding system that marked him as exceptional. He had begun to earn the trust of Guardiola and the admiration of fans, pundits, and teammates alike, signaling the start of a journey that would see him evolve into one of English football's brightest talents. This was the moment when the prodigy had stepped out of the academy's shadows and firmly into the stage of elite football, setting the scene for the breakthroughs, trophies, and defining moments that would follow in the next chapter. As Foden stepped further into the senior squad, the young prodigy began to transform potential into tangible impact, moving from flashes of brilliance to meaningful contributions in key matches. The 2018-19 season marked the start of his real emergence, as he became more than just a promising academy graduate. Guardiola gradually integrated him into the Premier League and domestic cup matches, giving him the minutes to showcase his intelligence, technical skill, and composure. His first taste of silverware came in the Carabao Cup, where even in limited appearances, Foden's energy, movement, and creativity contributed to City's success. Teammates and pundits began to notice not only his technical prowess, but also his maturity, with former striker Sergio Aguero describing him as a special player who understands the game beyond his years. This phase was critical, as Foden learned to navigate the intensity of a squad filled with established stars while carving out his own role on the pitch. Foden's influence grew steadily, with his performances in domestic competitions providing glimpses of the player he was becoming. His contributions in FA Cup fixtures and Premier League matches became increasingly decisive. He was no longer merely filling minutes, but actively shaping outcomes with his dribbling, vision, and goal-scoring ability. Guardiola frequently highlighted his growing understanding of positional play and tactical awareness, praising the way he linked midfield and attack while adapting to multiple roles across the front line. By the end of the 2019-20 season, Foden had become an essential squad member, celebrated for both his technical flair and his ability to handle pressure moments, earning him the PFA Young Player of the Year award. His early silverware was not just about trophies, but also about the confidence and trust that allowed him to flourish as a player ready for bigger challenges. This period of breakthrough also set the tone for Foden's identity as a player capable of decisive impact in high-stakes moments. Each goal, assist, and intelligent movement on the pitch reinforced his growing reputation as one of English football's most exciting talents. Observers noted how he combined the creativity of a playmaker with the sharpness and timing of a goal-scoring threat, a rare duality at such a young age. As he contributed to Manchester City's Premier League and domestic cup successes, the narrative around Foden shifted from prodigy with promise to emerging star with measurable influence. By the close of this phase, it was clear that he was no longer just a talent in waiting. He was a rising force whose trajectory would soon take him to Champions League nights, decisive league moments, and the center stage of Manchester City's golden era. By the 2021-22 and 2022-23 seasons, Phil Foden had firmly established himself as a core member of Manchester City's squad, no longer just the young talent, but a decisive presence on the field. His technical brilliance, close control, intelligent movement, and vision had matured into tactical reliability, allowing him to thrive in multiple attacking roles. Guardiola increasingly trusted him to start in crucial Premier League matches and Champions League fixtures, recognizing Foden's ability to influence games not only through goals and assists, but by creating spaces, linking play, and destabilizing defenses with his unpredictable movement. Teammates praised his work ethic and composure, noting that despite his youth, Foden combined instinctive flair with an understanding of the team's broader tactical demands, a quality that separated him from other emerging talents. Foden's rise coincided with one of the most successful periods in City's history, including the historic 2022-23 treble-winning season. While he was not always the headline figure in every match, his contributions were vital. Intelligent off-the-ball runs, late goals, and moments of creativity that shifted the balance in tight fixtures. Guardiola acknowledged that Foden's versatility and readiness allowed the team to rotate without losing cohesion, highlighting the young Englishman's importance in sustaining City's relentless style of play across multiple competitions. This phase marked a turning point where Foden was no longer just a promising academy graduate or a cameo performer. He was a trusted component of unprecedented success, quietly building the foundation for his personal legacy. As he entered this period of consolidation, Foden's reputation as one of England's brightest talents became undeniable. He was reaching personal milestones, goals, assists, and appearances that reflected consistency and growth. Critics and pundits began to regard him not only for moments of technical brilliance, but for his ability to adapt, evolve, and deliver in high-pressure matches. His development was emblematic of a modern attacking midfielder who combined instinctive creativity with tactical intelligence. And by the end of this phase, Foden had transitioned from a highly rated youngster into a key figure capable of shaping the outcome of games, ready to face both challenges and triumphs that lay ahead in his career. The 2024-25 season was a testing period for Phil Foden, a phase that reminded everyone that even the brightest talents face challenges. After years of steady rise and breakthrough moments, his performances dipped noticeably, with fewer goals and assists than in previous campaigns. Analysts pointed to a combination of physical fatigue, minor injuries, and the psychological toll of sustaining elite-level output as factors behind the slump. Even Guardiola acknowledged that the team missed Foden at his best, describing the period as a natural ebb in a player's development rather than a failure. For Foden, it was a season that demanded patience, reflection, and adaptation, forcing him to confront both on-field and off-field pressures while maintaining the professionalism that had characterized his rise. Despite the dip, Foden's tactical growth continued behind the scenes. Guardiola experimented with new roles for him, sometimes positioning him as a central number 10 or deeper in the midfield, encouraging him to develop vision, passing range, and positional intelligence beyond his usual wide or advanced attacking roles. This phase became less about immediate output and more about evolving as a complete footballer, improving decision-making under pressure, learning to manage space against elite defenses, and adapting to the demands of City's fluid, high-tempo style. While critics focused on the reduced numbers, insiders recognized the season as a strategic recalibration, preparing Foden for the next stage of resurgence. By the end of the season, it was clear that the dip was temporary, a necessary part of his development. His professionalism, resilience, and capacity to absorb tactical lessons positioned him for a return to form, setting the stage for a resurgence that would combine experience with the talent and instinct that had defined his early years. Foden's story during this period was no longer simply about youth and potential. It became a narrative of adaptation, growth, and preparation for renewed influence at the top level. The challenges he faced reinforced his mental toughness and tactical understanding, foreshadowing the comeback that would define the next chapter of his career. Phil Foden's 2025-26 season marks the chapter of resurgence, a period where resilience, growth, and innate talent converged to redefine his impact on Manchester City. After the challenges of the previous campaign, Foden has returned to form with a renewed sense of confidence, composure, and purpose. His performances in both the Premier League and the Champions League have been decisive, highlighted by a 2-goal display against Borussia Dortmund that reminded the football world of his brilliance. Beyond the statistics, 4 goals and 3 assists early in the season, it is his creativity, spatial intelligence, and ability to influence the tempo of matches that underline his evolution. Guardiola's trust has deepened, deploying him in key roles across the attacking line, and teammates and pundits alike recognize the maturity and adaptability that now define his game. This resurgence is more than a return to numbers. It is the realization of tactical growth and personal development. Foden has become a player who not only creates moments of individual brilliance, but understands the nuances of controlling matches, linking play, and exploiting spaces in high-pressure situations. The lessons from his dip in form, coupled with experience from treble-winning campaigns, have forged a player capable of delivering consistency alongside flash moments of inspiration. Observers have praised his decision-making, off-the-ball movement, and refined positional intelligence, marking him as one of England's most complete and influential attacking talents. Foden's performances are generating renewed calls for his inclusion in the national team, reflecting both his statistical output and the undeniable impact he has on the pitch. As he reclaims his trajectory, Foden's story is now defined by resilience, adaptability, and an ever-expanding legacy. He has stepped beyond the label of prodigy to establish himself as a core figure in one of the world's most demanding squads, blending instinctive creativity with tactical intelligence. The early months of 2025 by 2026 reveal a player who is not only rediscovering form, but elevating it, hinting at the potential for sustained brilliance in both domestic and European competitions. This chapter frames him not merely as a talent who recovered in a dip, but as a modern footballer whose continued growth, influence, and leadership will shape the next era of Manchester City's dominance, cementing a legacy that began with a boyhood dream in Stockport and now thrives on the grandest stages of the game.